At age 14, Ben Carson, the master of the scalpel, was a knife-wielding street fighter.
You see, I had this pathological temper. I would go after people with baseball bats. I remember once a guy hit me with a pebble, and I took a big rock and threw it right at his face. Broke his glasses, almost put his eye out. I remember another kid did something silly, shut my locker or something when I wasn't ready, and I took the combination lock and put it on my hand, and it knocked a 3-inch gash in his forehead. I mean, that was terrible. I tried to hit my mother in the head with a hammer. But one day when I was 14 years old, it sort of all culminated because another youngster was doing something that I didn't like, changing a radio station or something that I was listening to. And I happened to have a large camping knife on me. And I grabbed it and tried to stab him in the abdomen with it. Figured I'd put him out of his misery. Well, fortunately, under his clothing, he had on a very large metal ROTC belt buckle. And that knife blade hit that belt buckle and broke. And he took off. He says, "I'm not sticking around this crazy guy." But, you know, I was even more horrified than he was because I recognized at that moment that I was completely and totally out of control. And that had he not had that belt buckle on, he could have been killed or seriously injured. And instead of realizing my dream of becoming a physician, I would have been on my way to jail or reform school. And I went home and shut myself up in the bathroom. And I started praying and asking God to take that temper away from me because I had no control over it. I was just like a crazy person when I got mad. And I started reading in the book of Proverbs, and it had a lot of stuff in it about people who lose their tempers and what happens to them. And it all seemed like it was written just for me. And I stayed in there for 3 hours, praying and contemplating and reading. And when I came out of that bathroom, the temper was gone. And I haven't had any problems with it ever since that time. And people who know me today can't believe